Hey guys, my name is Mate, and in this video I want to talk about how to write H1 headlines. So H1 headlines are an interesting thing because with them you basically have to balance two things. You have to pay attention to how Google's going to see it for SEO reasons, and you have to pay attention to how people who read it are going to see it so that you can actually get them to continue reading the page and then eventually contact you. So let's discuss the SEO aspect first. Now, the H1 headline is one of the 3 pillars of SEO, and I'm going to put a link to that video here so you can check that out. Basically, it's one of the most important things on your whole website. It's basically the most important text on your page. Google considers it the highest relevance, and it's going to look at the keywords in that H1 headline to determine what the page is about. So the first rule of it is that every single page on your website needs to have a unique H1 headline. So do not copy and paste your H1 headline between multiple pages. Just use a unique one for every single page. That's going to make a big difference to your SEO. Now, when you're writing it, you want to make sure that you have the main keywords that you want that page to rank for in the H1 headline. Or if it's a blog post, for example, and let's say you're dealing with a question, you want to make that phrase the H1 headline. So the main point here is to get the keywords in the headline, but the keyword needs to be readable. So the SEO aspect is you need to get the keywords in there, but the human aspect is you need to read it. And also Google's algorithm is smart enough to know if you're just keyword stuffing or it's actually a readable, real H1 headline. So you need to keep that in mind. But on the human side of this equation, people are reading this headline and it's the first text they're going to see on the website. You basically need to convince them with that headline to keep reading, otherwise they're just going to leave the page. So this is one of the big reasons why you don't want to keyword stuff it. And this is also how Google's going to know, because people just bounce right off your website. And if you've got a high bounce rate, then Google's going to know that and it's just going to go, something's wrong here, and drop your website. So what you need to do is use the H1 headline to convince people to keep reading. Now, how do you do that? Well, the main way you do that is to give them exactly what they're looking for. So for example, if you're running ads and it's for a particular keyword, the ad contains a particular keyword, you want to use that same keyword in the headline. So for example, if you're talking about, let's say, personal injury law, and the ad says personal injury lawyer, you need to say personal injury lawyer on the H1 headline. But it doesn't need to be that short and that dull. You can go a bit livelier with it and say, for example, you can play around with it and like ask a question. Are you looking for a personal injury lawyer in Sydney, for example? Now you got the words personal injury lawyer in Sydney, but it's a question and people might read it. Or, we are the personal injury lawyers who are here to win your case, for example. You might not be able to say exactly that, but you get the idea. You basically want to make it interesting. Don't just put a bland personal injury lawyer headline and it'll read like everybody else's. Now what you can do is go and take a look at what all the competition is doing. So go to page 1 of Google, open up all the results, have a look at what they wrote for the headline, and you might get some ideas. But basically that's what you need to do to make an H1 headline that stands out, that people read. It's going to get them to continue reading your page, and it's also going to help you rank on Google for that particular keyword. So hope that was helpful. Catch you guys on the next one.